forward, please.
Actor Peter Farkas claims 31-year-old makeup artist Dwayne Bull changed lanes and smashed into his car on Sunset Boulevard and still hasn't paid for the damage.
Order, all rise. Your Honor, this is number 90 on the calendar in the matter of Farkas versus Bull. Parties have been sworn in, Judge. You may be seated. Have a seat, ma'am.
Mr. Farkas, if you tell me the story in as interesting a manner as you wrote it in your papers, it's going to be a fun morning. So, relax and tell me your story.
Well, I was traveling westbound on Sunset Boulevard heading towards Highland. I get to the corner of Highland with a plan to make a right turn. I'm in the far right lane. The light changes. I move forward a foot or a yard. All of a sudden, bam! Mr. Bull over here smashes me from the middle lane of Sunset because he's decided to make a right turn onto Highland. So we pull into a strip center right nearby, and you know, I'm reaching for my documents. I'm just trying to compose myself, and he saunters over to my window, and you know, in his way, oh, I'm so sorry I did this. This is terrible. I had my mind on other things, and I'm getting a divorce. I'm saying, please, I don't want to know. Just let's go with the license and registration. So I look at his license.
A divorce? I just got married, so I can't be getting a divorce.
I'm going to get to you in a second.
I read his license. Dwayne Xavier Bull, license expires in '95. Do you have insurance? No, this I don't have. I look at his license plates, New Mexico license plates. So what are we going to do? He says, I just want to pay for it. Why don't you just take it over to a... So I ask him, what beseeched you? What possessed you to make this turn?
Your Honor,
he says, I saw my boyfriend on Highland Avenue with another man, and I got so upset. I said, I'm not interested. What are you going to do? He says, I'm going to pay. He says, I'm going to pay for it. I tell him I'm going to go right now to get an estimate, and I'm going to bring it to you, and you'll pay for it, and we'll forget the whole thing. Now, the man, can I show this to the judge, please?
Yes.
The day, exactly at the incident, I wouldn't leave the scene without him signing this. It clearly says, Dwayne Xavier Bull agrees to pay me. He caused the accident. Fine, so he does it. So what happens next? I call him and call him and call him. No answer. He gives me his pager. His salon is on Sunset. Following morning, I walk into his place of business. I walk in, and this young lady takes over. Divorce, marriage, the French woman, I don't know, but she starts. Excuse me, I will handle this. Dwayne has no money. Well, that's good. That's good. What are we going to do? But we want to fix your car, so we want you to take your car to Vahe.
To who?
Vahe.
Vahe.
So Vahe, the Armenian auto body repair. It's right. There's more documents to establish it. I pick up the telephone. I say, I'm not leaving here till I speak to Vahe, so it's perfectly clear that Vahe fixes my car, he pays for it, and I go home. I call up Vahe, and I say, Vahe, do we understand each other? Dwayne Xavier Bull, I'm going to bring my car to Jenemsveld in the valley somewhere, and you should only know where, I don't know where it is. You have to take a cow to get there. So, Vahe, do we understand each other? You're going to fix the car, and Dwayne Xavier Bull is going to pay for it. He says, no problem. We know Dwayne. You bring your car. You'll be very happy. Following morning, my wife and kid in tow with the Camry behind us. We're trucking out to no man's land. Oh, excuse me. Here's the document that says that he agrees to pay Varaz Auto Repair when I bring the car to him.
Okay.
Dwayne, can you give me a chance?
Mr. Bull, I'm going to let you tell the defendant's side of the story as soon as he's finished, okay? Go ahead.
So I get to Varaz, Vahe's a very nice guy. He says, leave the car, no problem. On my way home, I'm telling my wife, there's no shot in the world that this problem is over. Sure enough, like clockwork, Vahe's boss calls me. Bob the Armenian. Bob, we have a problem. Of course we have a problem. Dwayne Bull didn't come to pay for the car, right. He says, we agreed that he would just pay for the parts, and we'll give him time on the labor. The man doesn't come. So I start calling him, Vahe's calling him, Bob is calling him. The man doesn't return calls. Finally, he threatens me on the telephone. I called West Hollywood Police. He says to me, if you call me and harass me anymore, I'll have people beat you up. I call West Hollywood Police, but they're busy with seatbelts. They can't handle this.
How long are you in California, sir?
Not long.
How long were you in California at the time of this accident?
Unfortunately, only about 60 or 90 days, and although it's not relevant to the case, 45 days before this incident, I move into a house on April 4th, and the following day I wake up in the morning and the house is on fire. I'm carrying my baby out in the fire at 2 o'clock in the morning. And if I make, oh yes, we heard it enough. Well, here's an official document from the fire department establishing that happened. I know it's not relevant. I'm sorry.
It has nothing to do with the case.
Okay, so did you get your car?
I actually paid for it yesterday for a full month. I mean, this man wreaked havoc on my life.
How much was the...
$1,800.
It was 19 at first.
Excuse me.
You want to pay 19?
He changed
Excuse me. The day I came to him in his salon, I showed him the first estimate that I told him I would get was for 18 and change. Varaz, his own people, estimated at 1,800. And that's what I paid for it.
$1,800.
$1,800. So this is his own. This is his own people. This is Vahe's estimate.
Okay, Mr. Bull, you've been anxious to tell me your side of the story. Now I'm prepared to hear you, sir.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Mr. Farkas' car. He agreed to pay for the repair. He never came by to pay for it.
Paper.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Dwayne Bull, a Hollywood hair and makeup specialist, says his collision with actor Peter Farkas on Sunset Boulevard was Farkas's fault, and he shouldn't have to pay for the damage.
Now I'm prepared to hear you, sir.
Okay, Your Honor, the way I see it is, yes, he is correct. I was traveling west on Sunset Boulevard.
Stop playing with the papers. Talk to me.
Okay, I was just looking for a little document I wanted to show you as an exhibit. Okay, here it is. I was traveling west. Could you pass this to her, please? I was traveling west on Sunset Boulevard. Now, he was in the far right-hand turning lane, and it was 5 o'clock traffic. I truly believe that he was in that lane because on Sunset Boulevard, people get in that lane to speed to go fast. Your Honor, the way I was hit on the way my car personally was hit, if you look at the estimate, it was hit on my right side front door. Okay, so what I did was I put a signal to turn right. I think he was in this lane to go forward because he was not in our sight, nor did he have a signal.
So you weren't
car.
You weren't in the far right lane, correct?
No, I wasn't. I signaled to go.
You were not in the far right lane. You were in the center lane.
Yes. No, the lane next to the far right lane.
But he was in the far right lane.
Yes, right. Exactly.
So you went to make a right turn.
No, I signaled.
You went to make a right turn.
Yes.
And you were not in the far right lane.
No.
Right. You got out of the car. You went over to this gentleman. You signed a piece of paper indicating that you were prepared to pay for the damage. Right?
Yes. I had not even had the car a day, okay? And yes, I was nervous because I did not have insurance. And yes, I was nervous.
You didn't have insurance?
I didn't have insurance, and I didn't have a driver's license.
That's right.
Okay, so I really was nervous.
So you didn't want, listen to me.
So I didn't want trouble with the police department.
That's right.
But not only that, he got personal with me. He asked me, was I gay, okay? And I responded, no, he was coming on to me at the time. And I played with the party too. Yes, I'm married, but of course I'm going to play into it because I didn't want the police. And I felt if he thought I was gay, then maybe he liked me. It's obvious. He's Nelly.
Okay. Mr. Bull. Now he
this
comes,
is proof.
I want you to stop talking. Listen to me. I'm going to ask questions. You're going to answer them. He came to your salon. Now, he got to Viha, the Armenian, through you. Is that correct?
Yes. I'm being totally honest. I was nervous. That's the only reason I signed this paper. I did not want to go to jail. Okay? My wife told me, listen, this guy is at fault. He's in our business, and he's screaming, irate, loud. He's from New York. He's obnoxious. It's obvious he's obnoxious. Look at him. Okay? He calls on my phone repeatedly. He tells me about his house caught on fire, how his kids are hungry. He needs his van to transport his kids. All this irrelevant stuff. While I have very important clients that are there. In fact, my wife is here. It's proof that I had a client that sit there in the chair when I disputed with him for 20 minutes in my business, screaming because he has no patience and he acts immature. He screamed, 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 and I lost the client. She requested her $150 deposit back for, you know, the services that were being rendered, her hair extension. I am a popular hairstylist, and only thing I ever stated to this man is that when you want to speak to me, you do not call me at home and you make an appointment like everybody else.
Is that what is? Just
Yes.
a minute. Have we now completed your side of the story?
No, I have one more thing to say.
I'm ready to hear you, sir.
Your Honor, again, yes, I admit that my driver's license had expired. But again, from the way my car was hit, he said I hit him. It's obvious he hit me. From the way
That's really not urgently important, sir. I'm going to tell you why. Mr. Farkas had the right at that time, because there was an accident, to pick up the phone and call the police to have them come to the accident.
But why didn't he?
Why? Because
Because
sir,
I had.
No, because you had problems with your license too. I'm almost certain you did. You had some kind of problem.
You looked at my
Bull,
license and said,
Mr.
you know, you're a
Bull,
typical
you-
Gemini. That
you
was
probably-
his comment.
Mr. Bull, you, sir, had no insurance and did not want the police to come because you were also driving with a suspended license. He gave up the right to call the police, to have the police come and make a determination based upon, don't interrupt me, based upon what they saw, whose fault this accident was. You said to him at the time,
He never
"Don't-
mentioned police.
I will take care of the damage," and you signed a piece of paper indicating you would take care of the damage.
I
But-
signed that paper again because I was nervous.
Well, I don't care whether you were
Anybody
nervous or
signs
not.
paper, I mean
I'm
under
not,
pressure.
listen.
I mean,
I want
I was
you to
nervous.
I want you to
Another
get
thing,
not nervous,
My
Mr.
personal
Bull.
lifestyle had nothing to do with this case whatsoever. And for him to mention those things about my personal, I think that it was very irrelevant. And it's obvious that, again, from the way the position my car was hit, that it was his fault. But of course, he's not going to admit it.
Okay.
Your Honor, I was doing.
you did real
I
good.
was doing the man a favor.
Doing me a
he's,
favor.
He's telling me
Mr.
about
Farkas.
his wife
Doing me a
problem.
favor.
Telling me about the two-timing boyfriend. I mean, the man's got, you know, sexual confidence. He's a menace on the road.
Mr. Farkas, Mr. Farkas.
I'm sorry. What the hell's so funny?
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And later today,
He has no idea what my feelings are if I like to ride bicycles. He doesn't know that about
I
me.
dated him for 6 months. We've been friends for 9 months since then.
Judge Judy is ready to rule.
You're a
Mr.
joke.
Farkas, you paid the $1,800 to have your
I
car
did.
fixed? Judgment in this case is for the plaintiff in the amount of $1,800. The defendant's counterclaim for harassment and all sorts of other things is dismissed.
Thank you,
Goodbye.
Judge.
Is our excuse, you may step out.
But you were very smart about getting those papers because that's the only reason why you won this case. But other than that, she would have looked at it for my way. And another,
Yeah,
I just
yeah.
think it's because you're blonde and blue-eyed.
I am absolutely convinced that Mr. Bull had his name shortened.
And now the next case.
All parties on Ryder versus Pullman. Step forward.
30-year-old marketing director Kirk Ryder says he loaned his bicycle to his ex-boyfriend Klaus Pullman, and it was stolen. So now Klaus should pay.
All right. Mr. Ryder, you say that you lent a bicycle to the defendant, and he had it in his possession for a long time, and then through his negligence, the bicycle was stolen. You want your money for the bicycle.
Well, I wanted a new bicycle, basically.
Did you
And-
lend him a new bicycle?
Pardon me? No, I
What
wanted
didn't you understand, sir?
I wanted my bicycle back.
Well, he couldn't give you your bicycle back.
Right. So we entered
So my
into.
question to you is, did you lend him a new bicycle?
No, I did not.
How old was the bicycle that you lent to him?
The bicycle was 3 years old.
And had you purchased it?
No,
How did you get it?
it was. I inherited it from my best friend who died.
And what kind of bicycle was this?
It was a Univega Via Modego, 15-speed hybrid bicycle.
What happened to a Schwinn?
I don't know, Judge.
Schwinns are more expensive now.
Are they?
Yeah.
I'm glad to see if they're still in business. At least it doesn't date me.
They are.
All right. So you had the bicycle for how long before you lent it to him?
I had the bicycles since July 1996 when my friend died, and Klaus borrowed it in or around November, I guess. I'm not even sure.
Well, then I gather you weren't using it much.
Well, I was traveling. I travel for a living, so
Miami.
I don't know which trip he borrowed it before. He borrowed it because his car broke down in the desert and he was using his bicycle to get around. Then the bicycle he was using that he owned broke, and I offered to lend him mine.
So far, does that sound right?
Yes, except for when he loaned it to me
When did he loan it to you?
in June, in the summer
Of 96.
of '96.
What happened to his bike?
It was stolen.
Mr. Pullman, you understand that the bike is in your possession, then you have a responsibility to either replace it or to give him some compensation for it.
He neglected the bicycle. He didn't want the bicycle. It didn't work. It sat in his dining room for 2 years while he was traveling.
Objection.
It didn't work.
Your Honor. What? Sorry. Well, he has no. That's speculation. He has no idea whether I wanted the bicycle or not. I, out of the goodness of my heart, lent him a bicycle that had some emotional value to me as well as physical value of getting around.
So it doesn't seem to me, I mean, have you been friends for long? It's just too bad that this bicycle is presenting a problem to you. Why don't you just replace the bicycle?
Because he didn't want the bicycle. He left it. I took care of it. I didn't neglect it. I locked it with my bike, with my roommate's bicycle. It was in my garage. All three were stolen. He didn't want it. He liked it in my garage and not in his dining room. That's why I had it for so long. He didn't want to come get it. He wouldn't let me return it. He travels a lot, so it was his schedule that was in question. I work at home. I'm always there. He neglected the bike. He gave it to me. He didn't give it to me. He loaned it to me. Asked
right.
me to keep it for him.
He loaned you the bike.
I took care of it.
Good.
I housed it.
Good.
It was stolen. It's out of my control.
Right.
He neglected the bike a year ago. He loaned it to me a year ago this month.
Your Honor.
Yes, well.
He moved 2 blocks away from my house when he
Doesn't make
moved
any
to West
difference,
Hollywood.
Mr. Pullman.
He could have returned it.
Mr.
And
Pullman.
also, wait, one more thing. I believe that he did neglect the bike because I lent him the bike with a kryptonite lock, and he did not use that lock. He used a chain which could be cut easily.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Want justice? Call 1-888-800-JUDY. Kirk Ryder says his ex-boyfriend Klaus Pullman should pay for the bicycle he borrowed because it was stolen while in his possession.
The only thing that I have to decide is on a value of this bicycle because you did not purchase it. To replace it is a problem because to replace it, what you're seeking is the full replacement value of the bike, which is, you say, $399 to replace a bike of similar quality. Is that what you indicated?
Which is actually less than the bike that was stolen is valued at.
Well, bicycles, listen to me, sir. Bicycles are not like diamonds. They don't appreciate in value.
Oh, I know that.
They depreciate in value. So if it had been bought for $500, it depreciates probably 50% in the first year that somebody has it. So then you're down to $250. That's after 1 year. So you're not going to get anywhere near what this bicycle would cost new. But you have to pay something to him, sir. You accepted it into your care. That's what we call almost a bailment. Even if he was storing it at your house and you agreed to accept it for storage, right? You have a certain responsibility towards it. You said something about this lock.
It's a standard bicycle kryptonite lock. He loaned it to me with the bicycle, but he didn't loan me the key.
So what'd you do with his lock?
The lock is with the bicycle. It stayed with the bicycle. It has a holder for it.
Okay.
Which
There's
I
a
couldn't,
lock.
which
There
I
was
couldn't get off without a key.
A tire pump and also a water bottle and cage. All accessories to the bike, which
Mr.
added
Ryder,
to the value.
Mr. Ryder, stop getting so excited. It's a bicycle. It's a bicycle that you didn't ride and you didn't miss for a year.
I did ride, Your Honor.
You're irritating me. Listen to me. From the time you lent it to him until March of this year, according to your own statement, you really did not make a request for this bike.
I made one request.
Wait, so evidently
No,
it
I
wasn't
made two. I made two.
Evidently it wasn't something that was right at the forefront, the signpost on your face. You know, it was
Well, I
just
didn't
a
ride
piece.
it because it wasn't in my possession. I had loaned it to a friend. That's why I was not riding the bicycle.
And your friend is going to give you $150 that you can use towards purchasing a new bike. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $150. That's all.
Thank you.
अस्सलाम वालेकुम रहमतुल्लाहि वबरकातुहू। उम्मीद करता हूँ कि खैरियत से होंगे। मेरा नाम है मोहम्मद ताहिर और आप देख रहे हैं यूट्यूब चैनल ताहिर हाशिम। آج ہمارا قرآن اکیڈمی کا لیکچر نمبر 1 ہے۔ پہلے میں آپ کو اس کی ڈیٹیل بتا دوں تاکہ آپ کو پتہ چل جائے یہ جو ہم کورس سٹارٹ کر رہے ہیں اس میں آپ کو کیا سکھاؤں گا اور اس میں کیا جو ہے نا آپ کے لیے فائدہ مند ہونے والا ہے۔ تو اس کورس میں آپ کو سکھاؤں گا کہ آپ اپنی قرآن اکیڈمی کیسے بنا سکتے ہیں، اسٹوڈنٹ کیسے تلاش کر سکتے ہیں، کن چیزوں کی ضرورت پڑتی ہے، کہاں سے اسٹوڈنٹ ملتے ہیں، کون سی لینگویج یوز ہوتی ہے، کیسے اکاؤنٹ بنانا ہے، تمام طریقہ کار آپ کو بتاؤں گا۔ لیکن اس سے پہلے میں آپ کے ذہن میں آنے والے تمام سوالوں کا جواب دے دیتا ہوں۔ پہلا سوال یہ ہے کہ میں کون ہوں، آپ کو یہ کیوں بتا رہا ہوں، اور اس کے بارے میں قرآن اکیڈمی کے بارے میں مجھے کتنا نالج ہے، خود کو مجھے کتنا پتا ہے قرآن اکیڈمی کے بارے میں۔ تو میں آپ کو بتاتا چلوں، میرا پورا نام حافظ محمد طاہر ہے۔ آج سے 2 سال پہلے میں کسی اور کی اکیڈمی میں قرآن پاک سیلری پر پڑھاتا تھا، وہ مجھے سیلری دیتے تھے، ان کے اسٹوڈنٹس ہوتے تھے، سارا کچھ ان کا ہوتا تھا، لیپ ٹاپ سیٹ اپ سارا کچھ۔ تو میں نے سوچا کہ کیوں نہ اپنی قرآن اکیڈمی بنایا جائے، لیکن مسئلہ یہ آ رہا ہوتا ہے کہ جو مدرسے کے طالب علم ہوتے ہیں ان کو سوشل میڈیا کا کچھ بھی پتہ نہیں ہوتا، اور میں بھی انہی میں سے تھا۔ مجھے کچھ نہیں پتا تھا کیا طریقہ کار ہوتا ہے، کیسے اکاؤنٹ بنایا جاتا ہے، اسٹوڈنٹ کہاں سے لائے جاتے ہیں اور کیا طریقہ کار ہوتا ہے۔ تو ویسے ساتھ ساتھ میں ایف ایس سی بھی کر رہا تھا، میری انگلش کافی اچھی تھی، تو پھر میں نے کیا میں نے فری لانسنگ کا کورس کیا۔ تو فری لانسنگ میں نے باقی کام سیکھا، اور اس کے ساتھ میں نے یہ بھی سیکھ لیا کہ ایڈز کیسے لگانے ہیں، اس کا اکاؤنٹ کیسے بنانا ہے، کیا طریقہ کار ہوتا ہے۔ یہ سارا کچھ جب میں سیکھنے گیا تو اس کے بارے میں نے کافی سارا نالج اکٹھا کیا کہ کیا سیٹ اپ کرنا ہے، اور پھر میں نے الحمدللہ ابھی میری اپنی قرآن اکیڈمی ہے۔ پھر میں نے اپنی قرآن اکیڈمی بنائی، اور اب میں آپ کو جو طریقہ کار بھی سکھاؤں گا اس میں آپ کو اپنے اسٹوڈنٹس بھی دکھاؤں گا، ان کو کیسے پڑھاتے ہیں وہ بھی میں آپ کو سکھا دوں گا، اور اس کا کمپلیٹ طریقہ کار بتاؤں گا، آپ کو ٹینشن لینے کی ضرورت نہیں ہے۔ اب جو ہے نا مین ٹاپک پر آتے ہیں کہ آپ کو کیوں سکھا رہا ہوں۔ اگر آپ میرے چینل پر دیکھیں گے تو آپ کو اس طرح کی کافی ساری ویڈیوز مل جاتی ہیں جن پر میں سکھا رہا ہوں کہ آپ نے کیسے یوٹیوب چینل بنانا ہے، بغیر فیس کے، بغیر کیمرے کے، بغیر انویسٹمنٹ کے کیسے بنانا ہے۔ تو کافی ساری ویڈیوز میری پڑی ہوئی ہے، مجھے یہی ٹاپک آتا تھا تو میں نے اس پر ویڈیوز بنانا شروع کر دی، اور میں سمجھتا ہوں کہ اگر میری ہیلپ سے کسی کا گھر چل سکتا ہے تو اس سے اچھا کام کوئی اور نہیں ہو سکتا، اس لیے میں آپ کو بتا رہا ہوں۔ چلیں جی اب مین ٹاپک پر آتے ہیں، اور اس میں پہلا سوال یہ آتا ہے کہ مجھے خود کو قرآن پاک پڑھانا نہیں آتا، میں کیا کروں؟ تو اس کے لیے میں کہوں گا اگر آپ کو نہیں آتا تو آپ یہ طریقہ کار سیکھ لیں، اسٹوڈنٹس تلاش کرنے سیکھ لیں، اکاؤنٹ بنانا سیکھ لیں، ایڈز کیسا لگانا ہے فیس بک پر بھی وہ سیکھ لیں۔ پھر آپ کیا کریں، آپ قاری حضرات کو بٹھا دیں، وہ آپ کے اسٹوڈنٹس کو پڑھائیں گے، آپ ان کو سیلری دیں اچھی خاصی، ان کے ساتھ ڈیل کر لیں، ان کو بھی حلال روزی ملے گی، اور آپ کا بھی یہاں سے رزق چلتا رہے گا، آپ کو رزق ملتا رہے گا۔ اور اس میں آپ کو یہ بھی میں چیز بتاتا چلوں کہ آپ کو اگر اچھے طریقے سے تجوید کے ساتھ قرآن پاک پڑھانا نہیں آتا تو آپ مت پڑھائیں، یہ گناہ ہو جائے گا آپ کو۔ آپ جس کو بھی پڑھا رہے ہیں اس کو بھی جو ہے نا آپ صحیح نہیں گائیڈ کر رہے، اور اگر وہ آگے جو ہے نا کسی کو پڑھائے گا تو یہ اس میں جو ہے نا مسئلہ ہو جائے گا۔ آپ نے کسی کو نہیں پڑھانا، آپ قاری حضرات کو بٹھا دیں، اگر آپ کو پڑھانا نہیں آتا تو آپ خود کی اکیڈمی جو ہے نا بنا دیں۔ باقی جو ہے نا اسٹوڈنٹس آپ طریقہ کار کو تو آپ کو پتا ہوگا، کیونکہ جو ہمارے مولوی حضرات ہیں یا قاری حضرات ہیں ان کو سوشل میڈیا کا پتہ نہیں ہوتا، اور یہ آپ کو جو ہے نا آسانی سے آپ کی کلاسز پڑھانے کے لیے تیار بھی ہو جاتے ہیں۔ اب سیکنڈ کویشچن یہ آتا ہے کہ موبائل ہو یا لیپ ٹاپ ہو، تو اس میں آپ کو بتاتا چلوں کہ موبائل اور لیپ ٹاپ اس میں سے ایک چیز تو ابھی لازمی ہے، وہ آپ کے پاس موبائل ہے، لیکن اگر آپ پروفیشنلی پوری اکیڈمی بنانا چاہتے ہیں تو اس کے لیے آپ کو لیپ ٹاپ ہونا بھی ضروری ہے، نیسیسری ہے۔ اگر یہ نہیں ہے تو آپ بعد میں لے لیجئے گا، لیکن ابھی ضرورت نہیں ہے۔ اس میں موبائل اور لیپ ٹاپ میں آپ کو ڈیفرنس بتاتا چلوں، بھئی کلاسز کیسے جو ہے نا موبائل پر ہوتی ہیں اور لیپ ٹاپ میں اس میں کیا فائدہ ہوتا ہے۔ تو میں بتاؤں آپ کو کہ اگر آپ موبائل پر کلاس لے رہے ہوتے ہیں تو اس میں آپ کو کرسل کا آئیکن نہیں ملتا، اس میں جو ہے نا بچے چھوٹے ہوتے ہیں، ان کو نہیں پتا ہوتا کہ آپ کون سا لیٹر پڑھا رہے ہیں، کون سا ورڈ پڑھا رہے ہیں، کون سا پیج پڑھا رہے ہیں، کون سی لائن پڑھا رہے ہیں۔ اور اگر لیپ ٹاپ پر پڑھا رہے ہوتے ہیں تو لیپ ٹاپ کا کرسل بھی ہوتا ہے، وہ بتا رہا ہوتا ہے بچے کو، اس میں جو ہے نا ورڈ بڑے بھی ہو جاتے ہیں اور بچہ ایزیلی پڑھ جاتا ہے۔ اور اس سے آپ کو کیا فائدہ ملتا ہے، جو آپ کی کلاس آپ کے پاس پڑھ رہی ہے وہ آپ کو چھوڑ کر نہیں جاتی ہے، اور اگر آپ موبائل پر پڑھا رہے ہوتے ہیں تو اس پر چانسز ہوتے ہیں کہ آپ کی کلاس آپ کو چھوڑ کر چلی جائے۔ لیپ ٹاپ کیوں ضروری ہے، تو لیپ ٹاپ کا یہ بتا دیا، لیکن اس میں جب ہم کورس کے نیکسٹ سٹیپ پر جائیں گے میں آپ کو سکھاؤں گا کہ آپ نے ایڈز کیسے چلانا ہے، فیس بک ایڈ کیسے لگانا ہے۔ تو اس میں جب میں آپ کو سکھاؤں گا تو ایک اچھا ایڈ جو ہے نا لیپ ٹاپ سے ہی لگ سکتا ہے، موبائل پر نہیں لگتا، لگ جاتا ہے لیکن گزارا ہوتا ہے، ٹارگیٹنگ اچھی نہیں ہوتی، آپ کے پیسے ضائع ہو جاتے ہیں، اسٹوڈنٹس نہیں ملتے۔ تو اس کے لیے جو ہے نا آپ کو ایک اگر اچھا ایڈ لگانا ہے تو وہ آپ کسی سے، اپنے دوست سے یا کسی سے، کزن سے، کسی سے مانگ کر بھی کام چلا سکتے ہیں ایڈز لگانے کے لیے، تو یہ کوئی مشکل کام نہیں ہے، ٹھیک ہے۔ تو یہ ہو گیا موبائل اور لیپ ٹاپ کا سیٹ اپ، یہ کچھ لوگوں کو پتہ ہوگا لیکن اب میں جو ہے نا کورس بنا رہا ہوں تو اس پر نیو لوگ بھی ہیں، ان کو بھی سمجھانا ہے، اور جن لوگوں کو ان چیزوں کے بارے میں پتہ ہے تو انہوں نے ناراض نہیں ہونا کہ جو ہے نا یہ کیا شروع سے سٹارٹ ہو گیا ہے۔ اب جو نیو لوگ ہیں مجھے میسج کر رہے تھے کہ یہ بتا دیں، اور میرے کافی سارے دوست بھی ہیں وہ بھی کہتے ہیں ہمیں بھی سکھا دو، تو ان کے لیے یہ فائدے والی چیز ہے۔ اب میں کیونکہ ہر بندے کو تو پورا پتہ نہیں ہے، میں ان کو الف سے لے کر یا تک پورا سمجھاؤں گا، جو ہے نا درمیان سے سٹارٹ میں نہیں کر سکتا۔ اب نیکسٹ سٹیپ یہ آتا ہے کہ ہمیں لینگویج کون سی آنی چاہیے۔ اردو تو تقریباً ہر بندے کو آتی ہے، لیکن سوال اب یہ آتا ہے کہ اسٹوڈنٹ کے ساتھ انگلش کیسے بولیں، اس کا کیا طریقہ کار ہے، اور جب ہم ایڈز لگاتے ہیں تو اس میں انگلش ہوتی ہے، ہمیں کیسے آئے گی انگلش۔ تو اب پریشان ہونے والی بات نہیں ہے۔ اب جو آپ کو لوگ اس طرح کا سکھاتے بھی ہیں وہ آپ کو نہیں بتاتے کہ انگلش آپ نے اسٹوڈنٹس کے ساتھ کیسے بولنی ہے، تو وہ آپ کا بھائی آپ کو بتائے گا، کیونکہ میں خود ایک حافظ قرآن ہوں، اور جو مدرسے کے طالب میں پہلے بھی بتا چکا ہوں کہ ان کے انگلش کا کچھ بھی نہیں پتا ہوتا، تو انگلش کیسے جو ہے نا آپ نے یوز کرنی ہے، کیسے بولنی ہے، وہ میں آپ کو بتا دوں۔ تو اس کے لیے میں آپ کو جو ہے نا جب آپ یہ ہم کورس کمپلیٹ کریں گے تو اس میں آپ کو جو ہے نا کم از کم 50 سینٹنسز دے دوں گا، 50 جملے دے دوں گا انگلش کے۔ اگر وہ سینٹنسز آپ یوز کرتے ہیں تو آپ کا کام ہو سکتا ہے، آپ کو سارے جو ہے نا گرامر شرامر یہ وغیرہ آپ کو یاد کرنے کی ضرورت نہیں ہے۔ 50 سینٹنسز آپ کو لکھ کے دے دوں گا، آپ کو ڈسکرپشن میں مل جائیں گے بعد میں، آپ نے وہ والے یاد کر لینے ہیں اور وہی بولیں گے انگلش میں۔ اور میں بھی ابھی تک اسی طریقے سے ہی کام چلاتا ہوں۔ اب میری انگلش کچھ امپروو ہو گئی ہے، لیکن پہلے گزارا ہوتی تھی، تو آپ نے ان 50 سینٹنسز سے کام چلانا ہے۔ اور اب نیکسٹ چیز ہوتی ہے جب ہم جو ہے نا ان کے پیرنٹس سے بات کرتے ہیں تو ان میں وہ 50 سینٹنسز تو نہیں چلیں گے، تو اس کے لیے میں آپ کو بتاتا ہوں کہ آپ نے ٹرانسلیٹر، گوگل ٹرانسلیٹر جو ہے نا انسٹال کر لینا ہے، ان سے واٹس ایپ سے بات کرنی ہے، جب وہ میسج بھیجیں گے آپ ان کو جو ہے نا آپ نے اردو میں کنورٹ کر لینا ہے اور اپنا انگلش میں بنا کے ان کو سینڈ کر دینا ہے۔ تو یہ والا مسئلہ یہاں پر ختم ہو گیا۔ اب تھرڈ جو مسئلہ آتا ہے وہ یہ آتا ہے جب ہم ایڈز لگائیں گے، اسٹوڈنٹس تلاش کریں گے تو ان کو رپلائی کیسے دینا ہے، ٹھیک ہے، اور ایڈز میں جو انگلش یوز ہوگی اسے کیسے لکھنا ہے، تو وہ میں آپ کو پرووائڈ کر دوں گا۔ کوئی مشکل کام نہیں ہوتا، ایک پیراگراف بنتا ہے، ایڈ میں جو یوز ہوتا ہے وہ بھی میں آپ کو سینڈ کر دوں گا، اور جو ان کے ساتھ کنورسیشن کرنی ہے وہ بھی میں آپ کو سینڈ کر دوں گا، کوئی مشکل کام نہیں ہوگا۔ جو بھی مطلب جو چیز بھی میں یوز کروں گا وہ اب میں آپ کو پرووائڈ کروں گا، آپ نے میرے ساتھ ساتھ چلنا ہے، کوئی مشکل کام نہیں ہے۔ امید کرتا ہوں کہ یہ والی باتیں جو ہے نا بیسک تھیں، یہ آپ کو پتہ ہونی چاہیے۔ اگر آپ قرآن اکیڈمی کا سوچ رہے ہیں تو ان چیزوں کے بارے میں آپ کو نالج ہونا چاہیے۔ اب جو ہے نا نیکسٹ ایڈز کیسے لگانا ہے، کس کنٹری میں لگانا ہے، کیا طریقہ کار ہے اس کا، یہ جو ہے نا میں نیکسٹ ویڈیو میں آپ کو بتاؤں گا۔ ابھی تک آپ نے یہ والی چیزیں ذہن میں رکھنی ہے۔ امید کرتا ہوں کہ آپ کو یہ والی ویڈیو اچھی لگی ہوگی۔ اگر اچھی لگی ہے تو چینل کو سبسکرائب کر دیں، ویڈیو کو لائک کر دیں۔ ملتے ہیں نیکسٹ ویڈیو میں۔ جزاک اللہ۔